when it comes to chopsticks, Kev, there's really three main categories that have to be spoken about or discussed. The first one is our first use, so who taught us. Second is the correct technique, and there are wrong techniques. And the last one is when chopsticks can actually be beneficial or not.
Compared to fork and spoon.
Yeah, or even hands.
Yeah, true.
Hands are a pretty good device.
True.
For you then, can you remember when you first used chopsticks?
Taking me back now. I would say it'd be pretty close after my mom stopped spoon feeding me. She would have just given me a pair of chopsticks and away I go.
Yeah, probably sounds about right. Was it to try and preserve the Asian culture?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's probably just what we had on hand once we, I think when they migrated from Malaysia.
I remember when I first started using it, I was probably 7 or 8. I don't remember my parents ever teaching me, but we were at a restaurant and my uncle sort of pulled me aside and said, this isn't on anymore.
This is not acceptable.
You need to start using some chopsticks. So he forced me that day, then and there, to start using chopsticks. So yeah, that was my early introduction into it all. The next part then, the most important one to discuss is technique.
So funny you bring that up. Got some chopsticks right here. And in my opinion, the correct technique is holding the bottom one at the sort of the base of your thumb and then pinning it to the middle finger, the top of the middle finger, and then you're holding the top one like a pen, and it gives you a lot of power and a lot of control.
What are the advantages of that? Like you say, more control. You can obviously pick up some heavier foods.
Yeah, you can definitely pick up. You get a lot of angles as well. It's really easy to pick up dumplings. You can also kind of make like a spoon shape and shovel food into your mouth.
Yeah, just a widely used technique. I've actually got a pair on me as well, which I like to carry around from time to time. And I'll show you the wrong technique, which is where you kind of crisscross it and you pick up in between. Obviously, the disadvantage there is you don't have that strength.
No.
You don't really have the dexterity either, because all you can do is that.
Yeah. You can only grip it really about not even an inch. Whereas if you look at that, look at the amount of width and power.
That's it. And then the last technique, which is commonly used, is just the old stabbing technique. So good for dumplings. Bowls, I guess, as well. But obviously, you don't have the other benefits of the other techniques.
I guess on that note, I've actually been using them to, like scissors, to cut sushi. I've been eating tamago egg, as Marissa would know, quite a lot from Sushi Hub. Shout out to them. And yeah, I just like to, because they come in like rectangular blocks, and I like to just slice them into bite-sized pieces.
Yeah, get another good use for chopsticks.
Yeah.
And then the last thing to cover is, obviously, when you go out to a restaurant, being an Asian man, you always get chopsticks offered at first instance.
Oh, definitely. Yep. I don't think I've ever been offered.
Only if you're with a white friend.
Even then, I still get offered the chopsticks.
Yeah, right. Well, that works.
Yeah.
So, trying to dissect different techniques for chopsticks. Which one's right, I don't know. But we definitely know which one works easier and better for people. So
yeah, I mean, logically, I think it's still this one. But I'm happy to hear out otherwise.
And then really quickly, what about texture of chopsticks? So you've got, obviously, the metal ones, which is more of a Korean style. You've got the wooden ones, which probably more Japanese. And then the Chinese ones, you go to any of those dirty restaurants, and it's usually those plastic ones.
The off-white plastic
the ones that
you got here.
Just happen to have on me.
I firmly prefer wooden. I just like the texture of it. It's a lot of grip. They're not slippery. I think you brought up cleanliness, and I didn't think of that. I think when I go to a restaurant, I don't prefer wood. Prefer metal or plastic, but at home I prefer wood.
Yep. Most people do.